Homeland Security raided the homes of Sean Diddy Combs in Los Angeles and Miami simultaneously in relation to a sex trafficking case. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the federales, Homeland Security to be exact, raiding two houses belonging to Sean Puff Daddy Diddy Combs. And for this video, I'm going to call him Puff because I've always referred to him as Puff. But anyway, the feds raided Puff at his house in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles, California, and Star Island, Miami, Florida. Now, I'm not really surprised here because there has been a lot that has come out about Puff in the past few days, weeks, months, maybe even years. Let's go back. I believe it was last year when his ex-girlfriend of many years, they dated between 2005 and 2018. You might even call that a marriage, although they were never married, and I don't think they have any children either. But they were together for a very long time, and there were allegedly some things that went on in the relationship that were pretty abusive, pretty crazy, pretty scary. And Cassie, the ex-girlfriend, wound up suing Puff for, I think, $30 million, right around that amount. Now, at first, I think Puff and his lawyers were trying to like buck against her. We're not paying. It's a bunch of false allegations. Once that lawsuit actually came out and we were able to read some of the deplorable allegations in the lawsuit, within 24 to 48 hours, it might have been 24 hours, Puff paid off the lawsuit, settled the lawsuit, and it vanished. Well, at least the lawsuit from Cassie vanished. But that whole scenario, that whole thing sparked an avalanche of accusations from other people. Other women came out, other men came out and said that Puff had sexually assaulted them and drugged them. I've seen him be referred to as the Black Jeffrey Epstein. That might not be correct as far as accusations because there's been no criminal conviction, only accusation and lawsuits in the civil way. Epstein was known for underage. I've not heard about Puff doing anything underage, although there were some rumors about Justin Bieber and Usher when they were young boys, but that's a different story. I digress. Bieber and Usher are not part of this particular case. Let me go back and get back on track. So after Cassie came out and that whole lawsuit happened and it was settled almost immediately, two more women came out and said that Puff had drugged them and assaulted them in the early 90s. There was another man who came out and said that Puff did the same thing to him. A music producer came and said that he was forced to work in the bathroom and Puff would be walking around naked and touching him in his hind parts and doing really inappropriate things. Now Puff and his lawyer said that's not true. He's trying to just take money from me. But there's an avalanche of allegations. There was another one that came out from when he was in college, speaking about Puff, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and he was in D.C. when he went to Howard University, a black college. The allegation is that he had picked this guy up, and I think at the time he was operating as some kind of RA, some assistant on campus that'll help you get home safely. Well, he took a guy who had been drinking back to his house, and the guy says that Puff and another guy sexually assaulted him. And the guy says he still has the clothing from that day, Monica Lewinsky style. So there's a lot going on here. I mean, and the lawsuit from Cassie was pretty gross. If you want to read it, please be warned, it's gross. I won't say too much here. I'll give you a glimmer into the actual lawsuit. There was one instance, or actually quite a few instances, of the freak-offs. And if you know, you know, but without being too X-rated, basically what had happened is Puff would get male escorts and he would instruct Cassie to engage with the escorts. There'd be all kinds of drugs and alcohol and everything involved. So that's part of the lawsuit, and there were a lot of things like that in there. There's been quite a few allegations against Puff from men, women, everything. That's not including the shady business dealings from back in the day that were also alleged. So there's a lot going on here, and I think there might be enough for the feds to get involved, because to have a simultaneous raid of Los Angeles and Miami that emanates from Manhattan, New York, that's a lot going on, and he might go to the penitentiary, make big rocks, little rocks. Now, before I go any further, let's get into an actual news clip here. This is from NBC. I think they're going to show the Star Island and Home Beach Hills raid and give a little bit more insight. And if you want to see any of this, of course, I will link to it in the box. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Hey there, I'm Hallie, and tonight we are starting with that dramatic situation happening as we speak in both LA and Miami Beach at the homes of Sean Diddy Combs. You know him as Diddy, formerly Puff Daddy.
So I think the house on the left, that's going to be, it says, okay, I didn't even see the label. So that's the LA house, and then on the right, the Miami house. But the LA house is sprawling, a big mega estate up in the hills.
Big time rapper, big time producer, big time superstar. And now the feds at his houses in both locations. This is a live look right now. On the left, that's West Coast, that's LA. On the right, that's Miami Beach you're looking at. I want to show you in just the last couple of minutes. In LA, agents holding what look to be guns as they walk into the home, as they enter the home. And you can see some of the apparatus there that they've brought.
Now, they may or may not show in this video, but there were some people taken out of the home in handcuffs. I believe his sons might have been in there. It was random white guy in some handcuffs. I don't know who that was. Kind of an older guy. Could have been an accountant, business manager, a guest. Who knows who that guy was? But there were quite a few people in handcuffs outside of the LA house. But I don't think Puff was one of them. I don't know where he is right now. And this is all breaking right now as of Monday evening, March 25th, 2024. I think in the next few days, we'll know more about Puff's whereabouts and if he's going to get arrested or what's going on.
I want to get to Dana Griffin, who is following this for us now. Why is this happening? What do we know?
Hallie, still, as you mentioned, this is a developing story, so we're learning new details minute by minute. NBC News has confirmed that this is a raid being conducted by Homeland Security and that the warrant specifically came out of the Southern District of New York. Now, we believe this is tied to sex trafficking allegations. There's an investigation into claims that the rapper may have been involved in this. So we believe this is connected to that. But obviously, what a split screen moment here to see investigations not only in Miami, but also Los Angeles, which shows that this was very coordinated and planned.
Yeah.
And remember, when it comes to warrants, these aren't things that are just, done haphazardly.
It's a nice house, by the way, but this statue right here, that's pretty interesting. That kind of tells you what kind of time Puff is on.
Haphazardly. This had to be signed by a judge, so this was obviously very methodical. And this is a sprawling home here in California. This is located in the Home Beach Hills area, a very wealthy area. That home that we can see from that sky cam is massive, sprawling, and we don't know exactly what they are looking for. It could be something as small as a USB drive, or it could be several boxes of documents that could prove his guilt or prove his innocence. So, and you mentioned those guns that we saw law enforcement carrying. It sounds like that's pretty routine because they're going into a home. It's a huge home. It's not secured. But from what we have seen on the ground and from local reports, that this was a very easy entry. There was no sort of violence or any sort of skirmish inside the home. So the weapons that you may have seen there are probably just cautionary.
Now, with how high profile Puff is, you would think they could just get him wherever he is and just go into the house and cooperate. Some are saying this is a dog and pony show because they're trying to hide evidence and protect him. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know about that. I don't think you would need to do all this to hide evidence and help him. But that is a theory that's out there. I wanted to acknowledge that at least.
Again, this could take several hours considering that these are two separate homes in two different locations. So we're waiting to get more details, and we're still trying to figure out where exactly P. Diddy is located. No one has been able to confirm that at this hour.
So that was going to be my other question, Dana, is where is he now? I mean, we don't know is the short answer, huh?
He could be anywhere, assuming that he's not here in Los Angeles, because we saw from that chopper video several people that were taken out of the home. Some appear to be in handcuffs, and that is customary when you're doing a raid. They want to check everyone out, make sure everyone who they say they are. We have not seen any images of P. Diddy, which shows that he may not be in his Miami or his Los Angeles home, but I'm sure over the next several minutes and hours we will get more details. Hallie?
Dana, in just the last maybe 2 minutes as you were speaking, I want to say even 60 seconds. And again, this is breaking news. I'm going to give you a beat to look at your phone because we are getting in now a statement attributable to Homeland Security investigations.
All right, so what are we talking about here? Let's see what Homeland Security says. And by the way, do you guys think that Puff was tipped off before this whole thing happened? When you're rich and powerful, famous, whatever, you might be able to be privy to certain things that others are not. Just like when they raided, who was that? Was it Roger Stone? And I might have been in Miami or somewhere in Florida. CNN were on the scene before the feds got there. So how did that happen? So these things can happen, but I digress.
HSI in New York. And in this statement, and I'm putting it up on screen because this is the first bit of sort of on the record information here, that HSI New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available. And that's key, Dana, as you know, because as we've been talking about, information is not something we have a lot of at this moment. Do we know if there's any news conference set, any kind of opportunity that we might get for our teams on the ground there to question some of these investigators, or is that still TBD?
That's still TBD. We've got a lot of our teams working to try to get that information. But as you can see, they put out a statement, but there was not a lot of details issued in that statement. So that tells us a lot of information of what they are keeping kind of closed-lipped at this point. So, you know, again, we have no idea what they're bringing out. We may get a hint as we start seeing bags or boxes brought out as far as how much stuff they could be looking for. But when it comes to these sort of raids, they have to look for something very specific. They don't just go into a home and just take out any and everything.
Is that a tank right there? Like, what is that? What is on top of the tank? That better not be any kind of weapon right there. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I'm seeing quite a lot of heavy equipment, rifles, everything else going into these homes. And again, for this to be coordinated out of New York City, Manhattan, HSI, and have a raid happen on opposite sides of the country. So you're at the north, you're in the Northeast originally, where it emanates from, where Puff may live primarily, potentially, because he's from New York. So you have the New York office talking to LA and then Miami. You might as well almost have the four corners. You go to Seattle, you be at the four corners of the country right there. All that happened at the same time. There's got to be something there, but we're going to see. We're going to see in due time. Again, this is breaking news. It's happening right now, Monday, March 25th, 2024. As the days progress, we're going to find out where Puff is. We're going to find out if there's any kind of arrest, what's going to be the next thing. Of course, I will be keeping up with the story. I have been watching it. I know what's going on, and I'm ready for the next ball to drop. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs is going to the penitentiary, Big Rocks, Little Rocks, or is it a nothing burger? Will he be protected? Will he get a slap on the wrist at best? Will nothing happen? Part of the elites? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. I think you guys might know where I'm at. I think that he's going to have something happen because they don't really want to just let you get off with stuff like this. They want to kind of send a message, be like, okay, you can't just do whatever you want. We will get you. So I think that they will get him. It's just a matter of time. We'll see coming up here pretty soon what happens. And I hope that if he did something wrong, I hope that justice is served. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.